What's up, folks? How you doing? Welcome back, Football Digest, episode number 16. And I hope you had a fantastic weekend and a fantastic Monday. Mine has been crazy, man. So I'm coming to realize how crazy it can get in Nairobi once it rains. Nimejua hivyo leo. Kumenyesha, kumekuwa traffic crazy. It is taking me like 50 minutes to get from town center to KCA. 50 minutes. Crazy, right? So that's just about it. And I'm still getting, it seems like I still have a lot to learn with Nairobi weather. I have a lot to learn. So I just want to do a quick recap of what exactly was transpiring this weekend. It's been a fantastic weekend. Lots of things have happened. Lots of money has been lost by investors. Lots of money has been earned by investors. Lots of points have been lost by Fantasy Premier League managers. Lots of points have been earned by Premier League managers. By the way, in Football Digest Fantasy League, there's a guy who clocked 100 points this weekend. 100 points. And for me, I had a very bad one because my striking force was absolutely poor. Before I even get into all the other things, let me just give you a quick recap of how bad my my Fantasy Premier League has been this weekend. All right. For starters, my goalkeeper was Joe Hart. He earned me only 2 points this weekend. Burnley were playing, their game ended 1-1, so he had nothing to show for it, I think, because I never watched that game. My fullbacks, the guys who are playing at the defense, I had Alexander-Arnold, Alonso, and Trippier. Alexander-Arnold did not even start the Liverpool versus Chelsea game. Manchester City game. He did not even start. My midfield was made up of Pogba, Leroy Sané, Torreira, and which other guy? Richarlison. Richarlison is the only guy who got me good points. Leroy Sané, he did not even start the game. He came off the bench, I think, the 64th minute. My striking force was Zaha, Mitrovic, and Harry Kane. None of those niggas scored a goal. None. So it's just been terrible for me. It has been bad, for lack of a better word. All right. So let me just get to exactly what happened over the weekend. Of course, we had the Kenya Premier League having its final games this weekend, coming to an end, the 34th games, and 34th game, rather, or game week, if you like. And of course, like I told you in my earlier broadcast, there were 4 teams that were fighting to avoid relegation, a sport that was only requiring one team. It was only requiring one team, but 4 teams would have joined that sport. And of course, we had Nakumatt FC, we had Vihiga United, we had Posta Rangers, and we had Nzoia Sugar, all of those that were facing the danger of relegation. And it turns out, Nakumatt FC is the one that went down. Reason why, Nakumatt FC, before the game week began, or the match day 34 began, Nakumatt FC had 37 points. Alright? They had that 7 points alongside Posta Rangers. Posta Rangers were playing away to Kakamega Homeboys in Buhungu. That game ended 0-0. Nakumatt FC were facing Vihiga United. That game ended 2-0 in favor of Vihiga United. And Nzoia Sugar were playing AFC Leopards, and AFC lost 2-0. So, by virtue of that, of course, the number 16 spot was sealed by Nakumatt FC, and they joined Wazito FC and Thika United as the teams that were getting relegated. Okay, and of course, Wazito FC, they were also playing during the weekend. They were playing against Sony Sugar. They lost 3-0, 3-0 or 2-0, 3-0. Then of course, Thika United were also playing against Bandari FC, and they lost 5-1. Man, what a whipping! They just sealed the fact that those teams do not deserve to be the elite league in Kenya, and that's why they got relegated. All right, and of course, we also had other games like Mathare United versus Ulinzi Stars, a game that had no meaning whatsoever. That game ended 1-1. We had Tusker FC hosting Gor Mahia. That game ended 1-0. We had Kariobangi Sharks versus Chemili Sugar. That game ended, I think, 1-1. We had Zuke Richo hosting Sofapaka. That game ended 0-0. But in total, we had like 18 goals. I have to say that is one of the most high-scoring weekends, I think, in the Kenya Premier League. I don't think there's so many goals in the Kenya Premier League. Hazikuangi mingi sana. So when you get such weekends, it's interesting. It's like last weekend, there were so many goals also during the last Premier League weekend. So it's interesting and it's good. But we want to see this from the word go. We don't want to see this when teams were starting to avoid relegation and stuff like that. That's when we are seeing teams putting in quite a shift in their gameplay. Nataka hii kitu ianze from the word go. Season ikisha kick off hivi. Mabao kibao. Because, you know, KPL is synonymous with few goals. Very few goals. KG games, 1-0, 0-0. I hope that will be a thing of the past come next season. So, the Kenya Premier League is over. We are waiting to see. I don't know when it will be back, by the way. I don't know. I think it will be back in February, ama kitu kayo, if I'm not wrong. But I'll keep you posted, you know, in case of any developments. Like I always say, by the way, to get all this info, you can go check Football Digest Facebook group on Facebook, or you can check out our YouTube channel. It's called Football Digest KE. Yes, I always post these recordings there. All right. Ideally, I'm supposed to do this thing live, but internet nisida. So I work with what I have right now. All right. Away from that, we had, of course, the English Premier League going down. Some fantastic games. On Saturday, however, we had only one game that was interesting. Manchester United versus Newcastle. And boy, did it live up to its billing. It lived up to its billing. Manchester United, of course, they won 3-2. Not of course. They won 3-2. And I'm sure as hell there's no one who was relieved. No one was relieved out of Manchester United win than a Manchester United fan. Because they were 2-0 down by the 15th minute. If that did not smell trouble, I don't know what would. But they did get a comeback. It's almost like those days of not Arsene Wenger, Jesus, Sir Alex Ferguson. You know, when they used to have dramatic comebacks, and they did still a comeback here. And you feel like the comeback kind of saved Mourinho's job, you know? Like I was damn sure that if they would have lost that game, the chances of Mourinho getting fired would have become next to one. Probability yake kwenda home ingekuwa next to one, you know? But now you can, you know, maybe not be so sure that he's gonna go home after Manchester United won. And of course, he feels like Sanchez saved his ass. Not he feels, he better be feeling so, because he did save his ass. And unfortunately, guys like Paul Pogba did not have a brilliant game, in my opinion. For me, a guy like Paul Pogba only has a brilliant game once he scores. Or assists like two games. Junataka mimi anishindie points. I don't care if Manchester United win. I just want him to give me Fantasy Premier League points. That's it. Iyo ingine ni vitu za baadaye. Alright? So Manchester United, of course, sealed the comeback. And I can tell you for free, guys who hate Manchester United like yours truly, we were truly excited once we were seeing the scoreline being 2-0 by 15 minutes. It was nuts. We were going nuts. A friend of mine was telling me he was so angry that he was so angry by the that Newcastle United relinquished the lead that he actually wanted Manchester United to just win it. Like umechoka na Newcastle, unataka tu apigwe ndio wapate akili. So crazy as we can that was, and I absolutely loved every bit of it. Of course, the Premier League, English Premier League, most of the action was going down on Sunday. Yesterday. That's when we had interesting games. Hizo zingine zilikuwa game bore sana. Zile team kubwa zilikuwa zinacheza Sunday. Of course, we had Arsenal being the first team to play versus Fulham, and we won 5-1. Man, I don't recall having a brilliant game this season than that one. Yani nili nice mpaya. 2 goals. Beautiful goals by Waekezaji, 2 beautiful goals by Aubameyang. And if you didn't realize, by the way, those 2 strikers, they each scored a goal with the back facing, the back against the goal. Like the ones we used to see Giroud doing. Waekezaji by yake ya kwanza, ilikuwa his back against the goal, and he turned around and gave it a good whack. Waekezaji the same thing. No, Aubameyang the same thing. With his back against the goal, he turned around and whacked the ball back into the net. And then he had an exquisite finish by Waekezaji in his second goal. The same kind of finish by Aubameyang in the second half. And also, man, you just can't forget Ramsey's goal. Ilikuwa too dope, yani. It was absolutely fantastic. And I loved every bit of it. And I think the second half of that game was one of the best halves I've watched Arsenal play this season. Everything just seemed so seamless. Like everything was meant to happen. It was just happening at the right time and in the right way. So of course that was an entertaining game. And then after that we had Chelsea versus Soton, and you feel like Soton wako tu chini, yani wako tu chini. There are two chances though that ka team met. Kuna chance moja sijui Danny Ings alijipata a good cross by, is it Ryan Bertrand or Redmond? He whipped in a good cross, met this guy who was just him alone in the net, and then akapiga huko juu. And I was like, who the fuck does that? Who the hell misses something like that? And then after missing that, Hazard met himself with the same kind of chance, and man, you can be sure he didn't lose that. He banged it, he took it to the back of the net like crazy, and you know, he's oozing confidence right now, and he has 7 goals. He's the top scorer in the Premier League, and he's doing just fine, man. And of course, Chelsea went on ahead to win 3-0 that game, and of course now they have 20 points. Chelsea, Manchester City, of course, then had another game later in the day versus Liverpool, ended 0-0. It was a very pulsating game. Crazy. It's very rare, by the way, you come across a 0-0 game, lakini game yenyewe ilikuwa dope. Mi kwangu 0-0 games most of the times inakuwa boring, but hii ilikuwa kali mzee. Hii ilikuwa game kali, you know. So that's what's up. And then of course that leaves 3 teams with 20 points in the Premier League tied up. That is Manchester City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Then we have 2 teams with 18 points. That is Arsenal and Tottenham. And it's getting tighter and tighter. So we have 5 teams which have been separated by 2 points only. That's how tight the Premier League can get with game week 8 having gone down. Then we had another interesting game, by the way, worth talking about is the Watford versus Bournemouth game. Man, Watford walipata watu waliteremkia wao. And guys got crazy points in the Fantasy Premier League courtesy of Callum Wilson, manze. I'm starting to think like I need to have that guy on my team. Like I need to have that guy on my team like yesterday. So we had another interesting, some interesting fixtures in Syria. We had Lazio hosting Fiorentina. It was interesting because Fiorentina are having a great season, but Lazio, of course, won that game 1-0 at home. Atalanta also playing against Sampdoria, another game which I thought would be tight. Like I told you, I don't think we talked about that on KU TV. We talked about it on KU Radio. And Atalanta versus Sampdoria ended 1-0 in favor of Atalanta. Napoli were also playing Sassuolo, which I felt personally would be a kind of a tight game. And of course, Napoli won that game 2-0. Juventus, of course, went ahead with their winning streak. They beat Udinese 2-0. And of course, they are now top of the charts in Syria. We had La Liga action going down. Very interesting games here. And hapa ndipo watu walipotezea pesa. Hapa. First, on Saturday, Alaves, Deportivo Alaves were hosting Real Madrid, a Madrid side that had not won in 3 games in a row, and Nathan Hadi scored in each of the games. No goal, no wins. So yeah, you got you maybe was thinking like this is the time when they're gonna bounce back and give Deportivo Alaves a good whipping. That shit didn't go down. Sevilla also playing that Sevilla were playing on Sunday, I think, and they were playing against Celta Vigo. And I highlighted this game because I felt like Sevilla having a very good season in the La Liga, and they are a team worth watching out now for because they are now top of the La Liga standings with 16 points. Barcelona also playing on Sunday. They were playing against Valencia away, and they drew 1-1. Barcelona just can't win games right now in the La Liga, can they? There is something not right there. But then again, Valencia versus Barca is always a tight game, no doubt about it. I do not expect anything less. So the La Liga standings have shifted kidogo. Now we have Sevilla being top with 16 points, followed by Barcelona with 15 points alongside Atletico Madrid. Fourth is Madrid, Espanyol, and Alaves. All 3 have 14 points, and they hold that, you could say, in the 4th position. Of course, after that, we have number 7, we have Valladolid and Real Betis. Between number 1 and number 8 in La Liga, there's a difference of 4 points only. 4 points. So it's tight there. But then again, huko amecheza, I think, game 7. Hajacheza sana huko, so it kind of makes sense. Then, of course, we had Bundesliga action. Worth highlighting because there's some shit going down in Bayern Munich. I don't know what exactly it is, but there's something wrong over there. Bayern Munich were playing at home this weekend against Borussia Mönchengladbach. They lost 3-0. Bayern Munich, they lost 3-0. That is the last resort anyone would have thought of predicting. Then we had Borussia Dortmund playing Augsburg. Crazy game this one. Ended 4-3 in favor of Borussia Dortmund. They are now top of the Bundesliga standings. And man, it was back and forth. Borussia wanafunga. This guy called Paco Alcacer, or however you pronounce it, he got that game. He got a hat-trick in that game, out of that game. And of course, that sees Borussia Dortmund top of the Bundesliga with 17 points after 7 games. And Bayern are number 6 right now in the Bundesliga with 13 points only. There's something going down there which is not right. Then, of course, we had today the Ballon d'Or nominees being announced, and they were doing so in batches. And the Ballon d'Or now is very different because previously it used to be FIFA Ballon d'Or. Now it's tofauti kabisa. That's why you saw FIFA having FIFA Best Awards, because they're doing it on their own. This Ballon d'Or is done by a French publication. So they just highlight the players, then they post those nominees to journalists, and those journalists all over the world, there's a representation of one journalist per country. All right, so one journalist per country, and they all do their voting, and then out of that votes, that's why they get the best top 3, the top 3 players, and maybe the best world 11, the best goalkeeper. Out of that, you win the Ballon d'Or. But of course, there's an overall what do you call it? Overall award of the Ballon d'Or winner. Of course, the guy who is the best in the world, and of course, this one is voted by journalists, unlike the other one for FIFA. And this one is very different now. They're doing it on their own. So it's going to be very interesting to see who exactly wins this one. And the nominees have posted the full list of the nominees which have been announced so far on Football Digest Facebook group. You can go and check it out over there. That's all I have for you. What is your highlight this weekend? Highlight for me this weekend has to be Arsenal's 5-1 win over Fulham, because, man, I can't recall the last time we had 9 wins in a row, and the last time we had a 5-1 win. Whoa, I can't recall. It's been way back. This is totally new for me. I'm living the time of my life right now. I'm living the time of my life. The other highlight for me has to be the Manchester United versus Newcastle game. So much drama, man. And of course, Manchester United, they got themselves a win over there. They're first, I think, in the last 5 games. Yes, the first in the last 5 games. So interesting. What was your highlight of the weekend? You can, of course, share with us what it was on the comment section, and we get to interact and get to know what exactly got you going, not got you growing, got you going this weekend. And tujue itakuwaje. It's gonna be a long 2 weeks now. We have the international break, but don't forget we have the UEFA Nations League, so it may not be that boring. Of course, Kenya is playing on Wednesday versus Ethiopia. That is something to watch out for. Then on 14th of October, we are back here in Nairobi, the Kasarani Stadium, where we're going to be hosting Ethiopia. And we just need 4 points to qualify for the AFCON being played next year. This is going to be very interesting to see how exactly that one goes down. I'm so definitely going to be watching that game on 14th versus Ethiopia. That's all I have for you. Have a good night. Have a fantastic week. God bless. Take care.